Deborah Puxty Ward and I'm 1 in 4. The day the doctor said to me, we found a tumour and it's bowel cancer and I'm 95% sure that it is cancerous, I actually sat there in the hospital bed and went, oh, thank God I know what it is. So a relief and then very quickly scared, fear of the unknown. And so that's really where Beating Bowel Cancer came into their own with kind of emotional support and information support.
My wife was diagnosed with terminal bowel cancer in May 2003. I'm Gough Norrington and I'm 1 in 4. I guess like most people, a terrific shock, anger, why me, why us, I don't know, numbness I suppose initially, but until such time as you're involved directly, then it's something that happens to other people and not to you.
Scared, very alone, angry, yeah, just devastated really, because I wasn't expecting it at all. My name's Alison Self, I'm 59 years old and I was diagnosed with bowel cancer in June 2010.
It had gone through, it was a Duke's D, so it had gone through the bowel wall and was already into adrenal glands. And we knew from day one that it was terminal. She went onto the internet to look at bowel cancer, what it was, and what the support was. And hey presto, that's where Beating Bowel Cancer came into the picture.
My doctor and my nurse were both talking me through the Beating Bowel Cancer literature. They gave it to me that day, and that's what I was able to take away with me and try to read and digest and get some information from. I think if I hadn't come across Beating Bowel Cancer, my first couple of weeks of diagnosis would have been a lot darker than they were.
And I decided to contact them when I heard I needed chemotherapy, and a few weeks later when my cancer was staged at 4 at advanced cancer, and I really wasn't coping very well at that point. I was very, very angry, and I had nobody at home really that I could talk things through. Nobody knew what to say to me, people were avoiding me, and I just needed someone to just help me understand what I'd be going through for the next few years.
And it actually was putting things in very real, everyday terms. They weren't using medical words which just confuse you. So to me, they kind of had already supported me through that first couple of days, which quite frankly, between your diagnosis and your first scan, is probably the worst time of your life.
And I found that education on my disease has helped me talk to clinicians about the best treatments for myself, and I'm part of their team deciding how I will be treated.
If someone's there from the very beginning of your journey, then it kind of makes things a lot easier.
People were just so understanding, the nurses especially, with such wisdom and compassion. And they just talked for ages. I wasn't getting any help at the time from my cancer nurse specialist. She had about 300 patients to deal with and only had minutes to talk to me if I could get in contact with her. Whereas the nurses at Beating Bowel Cancer would just talk to me for however long I needed to talk to them for. And then they phoned me the next day, which was absolutely great. I wasn't expecting it. And it was, Alison, are you okay? It's just like a family member phoning up to find out how I am. You just don't get that anywhere else. Beating Bowel Cancer does it all.
By the time I'd had my surgery and recovered from my surgery and just started my chemotherapy, it was the patient day that they hold annually. For me, it was really good to talk to people who knew about my fears and about my emotions and what I was going through, and I could talk to them without having to worry about what I was saying. Likewise, my mother could go into another room with the carers and they could talk about things.
Obviously, and quite rightly, the whole of the hospital attention is on the patient, but the carer is sort of feeling that and is, if you like, carrying the weight of their loved one on their shoulder and trying to be as supportive as they can. So I also found through the contact with Beating Bowel Cancer, I could find some support from it as well. and meeting other people in the same position was absolutely invaluable. The one thing that you do find is, hey, you're not alone, you're not isolated, you're not the only one.
For the charity to be able to eliminate that fear, I can't thank them enough, because it was a time where I didn't know if I was going to live or die. I didn't have a clue. And to try and suddenly put a lid on that is so difficult. It's a dark time for anyone. To feel that you're on your own is overwhelming. And I'm just lucky that I didn't have to feel like that. It's important for me to support Beating Bowel Cancer because I want to give something back. I want to give something back to people that made a really hellish journey bearable for me. People
should support Beating Bowel Cancer because the Nurses Helpline is absolutely invaluable. The booklets, and Beating Bowel Cancer must give out thousands of booklets, and I don't know how much they cost, but they must cost a lot to produce.
How would we have got on without it? We wouldn't. It's as simple as that. So I think Beating Bowel Cancer and the job that it does is vital, and you know, I hate to think what it would be like if it wasn't there.
They're just like my family. They're my cancer family, and they're really good to me.
My hope for the future in my world is that I'm going to do a lot more travelling and see the world and experience things. And at one point I might not have been able to do that. So for me, I've got to say these guys have saved my life, and now I can go and live it.